There are at least 1 trillion galaxies in the universe. Are humans really lonely? He doesn't have binoculars, and scarf binoculars capture deep space images show. The distribution of galaxies in the universe is roughly uniform, in line with the principle of homosexuality. Therefore, in the observable universe 93 billion light-years in diameter, the number of galaxies is around 2 trillion. The Milky Way is just one of them. In this case, even if there is only one intelligent civilization in each galaxy, the number of alien civilizations in the entire universe, that's more than the population of the planet today. But here's the weird thing. Whether in a star system near the solar system, or across the galaxy, astronomer, no signs of alien civilization were found. It's as if there are only humans in the entire universe. In terms of probability, that's very unlikely to happen, because the Sun and the Earth are not special in the universe. Hundreds of billions of star systems within the Milky Way. There must be several more alien worlds similar to the solar system. They all have the potential to evolve life and civilization, and leave their mark in the universe, such as electromagnetic wave detectors, even Dyson balls. Musk once said, "If a fish has never met one of its kind, that means he lives in pure water." There are also hypothetical theories in astronomy. Consider a region of light years near the solar system. It's a reserve for low-tech civilizations. Human civilization is the object of observation and protection. After technology reaches a certain height, we'll be accepted by other alien civilizations in the universe. If that's the case, then at least we don't have to worry. Alien civilization has invaded. But here's what's really scary. It is indeed possible that only human civilization exists in the universe. Even life is only on Earth. Today we know. Birth of life. You need a lot of things that are just right, such as the habitable generation of stars, such as the right magnetic field. For example, a stable environment for a long time. In the universe, there are not many planets that meet these conditions at the same time. One could even say, over the 10 billion year history of the universe, the first generation of stars in the universe, we don't have the conditions for evolution. Only 13.8 billion years after the birth of the universe, represented by the Sun. Second-generation stars containing heavy elements. Rocks only appear nearby, metal planet. And that gives rise to carbon-based life, or return to basic life. So from the time window, the time left for life to be born and evolve is not very long. One could even say, human civilization. It may have been the first intelligent civilization in the universe. Earth was also the first planet to evolve life. Within the confines of the solar system, astronomers believe that, for billion years ago, life existed on Mars, because Mars at that time, similar to the Earth today, there is an ocean, and the blue planet of the atmosphere. The only problem is that I don't know what life on Mars was like at that time. To what extent? Only after landing on Mars in the future, to conduct research. Some scientists even believe that 3.80 billion years ago, the origin of life on Earth originated on Mars. It could be a meteorite from Mars, carrying some of the microbes on Mars, and plunged into the depths of the Earth's oceans, began a new round of evolution. Except for Mars 4 billion years ago, some moons of Jupiter and Saturn today, such as Europa and Titan, it's thought to exist because they have oceans or atmospheres. Microbes have a chance on these satellites, born and survived. As space technology continues to advance, in the future we may, on planets other than Earth in the solar system, discover life or signs of life. If there is a chance, are you willing to leave the Earth to other planets in the universe? Of the more than 5,000 thin exoplanets discovered so far, astronomers have sifted through several. Second Earth. The one with the highest similarity is K28b. It's 8 times the size of the Earth, 124 light-years away. The parent star is a red star. The orbital period is 33 days. At first glance, He seems a little too close to the star. But due to the heat of the red dwarf, not as good as a yellow dwarf like the Sun. So, K28b is still roughly in the habitable generation of the star. In 2019, scientists at the University of London, for the first time, water vapor was discovered on K28b. This means that he contains at least hydrogen and C elements. The atmosphere even contains methane and nitrogen. This provided the conditions for the birth of life, even if there is nothing on it. Just by the presence of water vapor. It is also a planet that can be inhabited by humans. The only thing to overcome is his gravitational environment. But luckily K28b. It's not the only habitable planet out there. Kepler-4b is also a super-Earth. 1,400 light-years away, it's 5 times the mass of Earth. Circular period 385 days, basically the same as our Earth. But his star Kepler 452 is older than our Sun. It's brighter than the Sun. So Kepler-4b could have a very strong greenhouse effect. It is not possible to check in directly, except for these worlds outside the solar system. Astronomers believe that Moon and Mars, it will also become a new home for human civilization in the future. To be more precise, as the Earth's population continues to rise and the exploitation of outer space resources, human civilization as a whole has entered the space age. It's about ding-dong on the board. The real difference is only sooner or later. One of the key technologies, it's not Musk's recyclable rocket. But after the breakthrough in materials technology, bringing space elevator technology, only he can get a lot of people and supplies. Access to space at an extremely low cost. Eventually build an industrial system in space. Launching spacecraft from space to the Moon and Mars. Maximize efficiency. By that time, the first people to travel to the Moon and Mars, ordinary people in the true sense, will become the focus. Because compared to previous scientific exploration and experimentation, the workhorse of the space development era, only ordinary people who have been trained for a short time. In this way, space and other planets, it is possible to become a true new home for mankind, rather than a research base. Current technology, it takes about a week to go to the Moon. It takes half a year to go to Mars. It could be cut in half. In this way, the Moon can be replenished by the Earth. Long-term maintenance. But the development of Mars, there is a high probability that it can only rely on the developers are self-sufficient. Finally, make Mars not dependent on Earth's resources, a new world that can also work. This is similar to the New World of America, the pattern of relations with Europe, most likely in the future, lead to Martian humans. The conflict between humans and the Earth, even the entire human civilization, will be due to the continuous increase of spatial distance and become a stronger civilization. In many science fiction works, actually, there is a trend of bulk in the future of human civilization, like the famous Asimov Galactic Empire, a series of human civilizations throughout the galaxy. Ultimately, it broke down into several smaller civilizations. It's all about the speed at which information travels. No faster than light. As a result, several settlement plaques could not be communicated in time. Believe so. It's inherently inevitable. Have you ever seen a star brighter than the Moon? At 10:54, Northern Song Dynasty astronomer witnessed a superstar explosion. History is known as the official nemesis. It's brighter than the Moon. So that readers don't like lights at night, you can directly cut down the tree. At 1731, English astronomer John Bevis discovered the Crab Nebula. He was the one who broke out after the superstar. The resulting debris nebula, it's 11 light-years across. There's a pulsar inside, now 6,500 light-years from Earth. From the perspective of stellar physics, supernova explosion, undoubtedly, it is one of the most violent astronomical phenomena in the universe. This only happens at large masses. The phenomenon of stellar old age. Instant release of energy, equivalent to the total energy of the star over the past few billion years, will be in this outbreak, scattered across the universe at nearly the speed of light, forming a brilliant debris nebula. In fact, almost all heavy elements, such as gold, silver, copper, and iron covers. Even the sun is born in dust clouds after superstar explosions. That's why the Earth is made of heavy elements. And us on Earth, currently closest to the Earth, it could explode at any time, maybe even superstars that have erupted. 640 light-years away, Russ Temple, as a red supergiant. His lifespan was not long in the first place. It has now reached the end of its life. Over the past few years, the brightness goes up and down. So some astronomers think that he may have exploded by now. However, due to the distance factor, what we're looking at now is the rusty temple 640 years ago. Even if the next second we see it explode, that was 640 years ago. Astronomers analyze, after the explosion of Shengshu Temple, most of the energy goes to the neutrino. That can travel at nearly the speed of light. Will come to Earth sometime early. Give us an early warning. Then the energy is higher. Slower gamma and X-rays. And visible light. For the Earth, gamma rays in the universe can destroy the ozone layer. Impairs plant photosynthesis. This will affect the entire ecosystem. After the ozone layer hole is created, subsequent high-energy radiation particles will produce secondary particle tumors in the Earth's atmosphere, thereby increasing the radiation dose, further damage to the ecological environment. In fact, to 0.70 million years ago, the Earth has been affected. Radiation bombardment after a supernova explosion, the resulting iron-60, has been preserved in the ice heart of Antarctica. Geologists believe that he may have influenced Earth's climate during the Ice Age, caused a small-scale extinction event. From the perspective of the Milky Way galaxy, about every 50 years, we're going to have a supernova. But they occur mostly in the central region of the Milky Way, because there are more old stars there. And the Wall of Orion, where the solar system is located, it's in the suburbs, actually, with the dust lanes blocking it. As a result, we rarely observe supernova explosions, in a sense. This is also the solar system, one of the reasons why life on Earth was born. 5 billion years later, our solar system doesn't go supernova because its mass is too small. The sun will expand into a red giant, then gradually spread into a cluster of planets, the strong nebula, and leaves a white dwarf in the central region. As for the Earth and the Moon, it was swallowed long before the sun became a red giant, devouring the solar system of the red giant era. The closest planet to the sun would be Tiger. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn. It could become a new planet. Scientists believe that the universe will end in 22 billion years. The Earth will disintegrate in the last few minutes. Last second, all the atoms in the universe would disintegrate. This is the end of the universe known as the Big Rip. And it happened because our universe has been accelerating its expansion. Back in the 1920s, Hubble discovered the galaxy-hongi phenomenon, proving that the vast majority of galaxies in the universe are moving away from the Earth. More than half a century later, astronomers have discovered the expansion of the universe is an acceleration, galaxies farther from Earth, the faster it moves away from the Earth. Where 14.50 billion light-years is a dividing line, galaxies beyond this distance, away from the Earth faster than the speed of light, lost contact with the Earth forever. 2 trillion galaxies currently observable. 98% have exceeded this distance. You could say the Earth is being isolated by the stars of the universe. Investigate the reason. In all the galaxies we see, only 5% of the universe. What's left is 20% of the dark matter and 75% of dark energy. Where dark energy is the culprit that caused the accelerated expansion of the universe. He completely outweighs the attractive force on a large scale. Let the density of matter in the universe get lower and lower. If the current acceleration continues, 21.80 billion years later, Galaxies, celestial systems represented by superclusters, will start to disintegrate into smaller systems. In 140 million years, the force of cosmic expansion will travel to 100,000 light-year scale. The Milky Way and Andromeda will begin to disintegrate. There are no galaxies in the universe at this time. Only one star is left in front of the other. The repulsion of 3 months of cosmic expansion. It goes light years. The solar system, to light years across, will fall apart. Between the Earth and the Sun, the distance will get farther and farther. A few minutes before the Big Tear, the forces of cosmic expansion will act on planets. Vision from space would be greater than the combined energy of the Earth, cause the Earth to be torn apart, while the forces of cosmic expansion continue to extend. All the way to big, the last Planck time before the rip. That's 10 to the minus 19 seconds. All the atoms in the universe will be torn apart. So far, the entire universe will become a pot of basic chestnut soup. Atoms and molecules are gone. All celestial bodies and galaxies and black holes don't exist. However, this series of scenarios, both are based on dark energy accounting for the total intelligence in the universe. In most cases, if dark energy is discovered in the future, if the proportion is not so high, the universe may be accelerating from its expansion, become decelerating expansion, then stop expanding. It might even start to contract. Nobel physicist Robert Penrose believes that the universe may be a cyclic state. That is to say, the universe may at some point in the future, you go from swelling to collapsing. It gets denser and denser. Eventually all galaxies will come together, become a new starting point, and then another Big Bang. Create a new universe. This circular universe theory, at present, although there is no actual evidence to support it, but it's also a kind of cosmological model. After all, the Big Bang theory only answers the origin of the universe. It doesn't tell us how the universe will end. In the foreseeable future, with the advent of more advanced astronomical exploration equipment, the expansion rate of the universe changes are recorded in greater detail. Although we have seen, destined to be just a fleeting slice of the universe. But from this moment on, we might be able to see trends in the universe, solve more mysteries. Milky Way at 600 kilometers per second, running wild in the universe. Where is he taking us? In the 1970s, astronomers have mapped the cosmic microwave background. Discover stars on both sides of the galaxy. There are speed differences of hundreds of kilometers per second. This means that, deep in the universe we can't see, has a very attractive force. Is pulling the galaxy closer to him. Scientists have identified this unknown source of attractive force. He's like a monster lurking in the depths of the universe. Although we can't see him directly, but he can influence the galaxy. The only attractive force through the galaxy. Sensing the presence of the giant shadow. Only radio telescopes. For example, the 500-meter caliber deep in the mountains of Guizhou in our country. He can travel beyond the visible light band, gather some information about the filmmaker, and also confirmed he's part of the Galaxies supercluster. As the superior of the galaxy, Galaxies, there are 100,000 galaxies in the supercluster, 520 million light-years in diameter. Even in diameter, 93 billion light-years into the observable universe. He is also a presence that cannot be ignored. The Milky Way is just a grain of sand in it. The Sun is another grain of sand in the Milky Way galaxy. The Earth and us on it are even smaller. Not even dust. On a scale of 10 billion light-years. The center of the Laniakea supercluster. It's the scale supercluster. That's what we call the giant shadow man. It's 1,000 trillion times the mass of the Sun. 220 million light-years from Earth. Although he is making the galaxy. Approaching at 600 kilometers per second. But the Milky Way will never reach the shadow man. Because our universe is accelerating. A larger celestial system. The stronger the swelling pull. Whether it is the Laniakea supergalaxy, troop or cinematographer, their future will be torn apart by the forces of cosmic expansion into smaller celestial systems, equivalent to the Laniakea superstar cluster and the Peacock Indian supercluster and the Hydra Centauri supercluster. They are shaped like a few feathers in the universe. It is also connected to the Great Wall of the universe, ripped apart by the void, and it forms a network of cosmic fibers. For current human civilization, Laniakea's supercluster, the largest cosmic system. Although the observable universe is ultimately just a part of the real universe, but considering the total amount of matter in the universe, impossible to increase, so astronomers think. The distribution of galaxies in the unobserved universe is the same as in the observable universe, moving billions of light years into the universe. Even the speed of light is just a destination. The fastest spacecraft currently available to humanity, not even 1% of the speed of light. The radius of the solar system is at least 1 light year. Voyager 1, 30,000 years from leaving the solar system. These are the facts. Means human civilization will be in the future for a long time. Can only be active in the Sun series. Even on Earth, activity between the Moon and Mars. As a civilization only at level 0.73, at least 300 or 500 years later. To become a true first-level civilization, start exploring the entire solar system. From the Earth to the solar system, from the solar system to the Milky Way. The vastness of the universe is beyond our imagination. The Hubble telescope and the SCARF telescope studied its life. You see a slice of the universe. Just a moment. Astronomers have discovered there is a star called Shengshu Temple. In the final stages of life, a supernova could explode at any time. At that time, the brightness of his night sky on Earth will exceed the full moon. It's visible during the day. If all this happens, then there is basically no need to turn on the lights at night. The high brightness of Shengshu Temple, it will last at least half a year. Could save us a fortune on our electricity bill. From an astronomical perspective, Rest Temple is now 640 light-years from Earth. It's a red supergiant. The radius is more than 1,000 times that of the Sun. If you swap it with the Sun, the 4-tier planets of the solar system will be swallowed up. Jupiter will become the closest planet to its star. But far from the volume, more than 1,000 times the Sun. The mass of Shengshu Temple actually only 20 times that of the Sun. This means that his material density is very low. After the internal hydrogen is exhausted, the shell has begun to be propelled by radiation pressure. It keeps expanding. Inside Shengshu Temple at this time, it has become a sea residence. As time goes by, the carbon converges to make heavier carbon. The accumulation of carbon, it causes the rusty core temperature to keep rising. Eventually, the entire core collapses under a single pressure. Then there was a violent explosion. The energy released in a few seconds. That's equivalent to the sum of the past few billion years. The brightness of a star. It will also become the first in the galaxy in a few seconds. Over the past few years, the brightness of the rusty temple is monitored. Multiple changes have taken place, and part of the shell has been thrown out. Given the 640-year time difference between him and Earth, some astronomers think it may have exploded. Only we won't see it until 640 years later. That's another way of saying that if the next second, a bright light suddenly appeared in the sky, extremely high star, then explain, Shenzhou Temple exploded as early as the Ming Dynasty. We just saw it now. Conservative estimate. The brightness after the eruption of Shengshu Temple, it can reach 3 times the size of the full moon in the absence of clouds. This brightness can completely replace street lighting. And here's the thing. Shengshu Temple is also located near the celestial equator. The whole Earth can be illuminated by him, the official nemesis of history. It happened once in the Northern Song Dynasty, period of superstar eruptions. At that time, readers could read books at night without lighting a lamp. Today's Crab Nebula. It was left after the superstar erupted. Therefore, after the future outbreak of Shengshu Temple, the core region leaves nothing but a white dwarf, or neutron stars. It will also form a remnant several light years away. Nebula. This nebula contains some heavy elements. Often becomes the birthplace of the hard star. For 0.60 billion years ago, the Sun was born in a similar nebula. Therefore, the Sun contains some elements. These elements later formed the Earth. Life evolved on Earth. So is supernova. In fact, in the evolution of life in the universe, an indispensable part, he succeeded in removing the heavy elements in the core region of the star, scattered into the universe, provides the conditions for the birth of life. But our Sun doesn't erupt ultra clearly, because its mass is too small. 5 billion years later, although the Sun will also expand into a red giant, but only one white dwarf can remain in the core region. Most of the material in a star will be propelled away from the core by radiation, eventually form a planetary impact nebula. In general, no matter when Shengshu Temple erupts, and his impact on the planet was limited to lighting, only supernovae within 20 years. Radiation can harm life on Earth. But 20 light years from the Sun, they're basically infrared stars. They can live for hundreds of billions of years. There was no risk of a supernova.